Good afternoon, my fellow Americans and neighbors around the world. I wanted to do an update video after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Some of you guys maybe didn't hear what was going on or didn't get a chance to review the investigations. It appears they did capture the individual who was responsible for the shot, and turns out it's this young man, Tyler Robinson, 22, and he was a very disturbed young man. It turns out he was attracted to men, and he had some sort of involvement in the furry culture and had a roommate that was a member of the trans community. It seems that Tyler was involved with Antifa, and this particular operation seems to have been organized in conjunction with them. So I'm going to go through the events as I've been able to interpret based on the reports, official reports from the Utah police, the FBI, some of the media surrounding this incident. So after the shot that killed Charlie Kirk, the shooter, Tyler Robinson, age 22, gets up and runs in the opposite direction of Charlie's tent and drops down off the roof of the building. He appears to injure his leg. It doesn't seem like he broke it, but he may have sprained it. Some sort of minor injury that caused him to limp. Investigators reviewed the CCTV footage at the college or at the university surrounding the incident. It shows Tyler arriving at the campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:30 a.m. on September 10th. And from what I can tell, that's approximately three and a half hours before the event was scheduled to start, which is about the time you probably want to show up. Like, they're still getting ready. Not everybody's there. People haven't really set everything up yet. There's very few people available to see him. He would climb up there, lay down, and wait for the event to start. He was probably on his phone. And this is just speculation, but he was probably on his phone, talking to people, reviewing messages. This may have been when he sent the Discord messages to his roommate. When he arrived, he was observed wearing a plain maroon shirt, light-colored shorts, and a black hat with a white logo. So apparently he changed. If, in fact, the images we have of him are correct in the black shirt and the pants, and it sounds like the same hat though. He also had light-colored shoes on. When the investigators visited his home on September 12th, he was observed in similar clothes. So this is a typical outfit for this individual. In an interview with a family member, they said Tyler had become more radical in recent years. During an evening dinner at a different time prior to the shooting, another family member had recalled a conversation where Robinson had mentioned Charlie coming to the campus. He talked about why he didn't like him and Charlie's viewpoints. They also said that Charlie was full of hate and spreading hate, which is ridiculous. But if you are highly radicalized and your beliefs become your entire identity, that makes sense. Because anything anyone says that disagrees with anything that you believe becomes radical hate, becomes an attack on you. That's what happens when you become mentally deranged. Robinson's roommate was interviewed by investigators who provided key information. Tyler had made references on Discord about the incident. The messages detailed that Tyler needed to retrieve a rifle from a drop point in a bush that was wrapped in a dark towel. The message contained information about the engravings on the bullets and a scope on the rifle. The bolt-action rifle was recovered and was found to be a Mauser Model 98 .30-06 caliber rifle. Turns out I was correct about the caliber. Sort of. I thought it might be a 5.56 also, but I'll give myself a little credit for that one. So there's no doubt at this point that this deranged individual was highly radicalized by the far left Antifa and terminally online nihilistic culture, and this was a political assassination. Now, some of the engravings on the bullets on the cartridges were strange. I didn't get them all immediately. The first one, I think, was the cartridge that was spent, that was fired, and it said notices bulge OWO. Some of you younger folks probably already know what this is, but this is in reference to furry culture, some of the trans culture. I don't want to get too deep into the details. Okay, so you can see this here. This, like I said, this is the cartridge that was spent, the shot he fired, and you can read this. I'm not reading that garbage, but basically it's homosexual, trans, furry culture. It's disgusting, degenerate behavior, and it's an abomination to nature and God. But this seems to happen to quite a few people, at least the young men in America these days, unfortunately. This also seems to mean that Tyler Robinson is a chaser, also known as a gamp. He is a man who is sexually attracted to transgenders. Now, the other messages that were detailed on or engraved on the cartridges were, "Hey fascist catch," "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow. If you read this, you're gay, LMAO." Now, each of these has a meaning to them. They're not just thrown out there for fun. This is an individual who's steeped in this culture and knew what they meant. The "Hey fascist catch" is prior to this young man's life. It was a communist saying. It was used during the Nazis era. And I think more recently it's in reference to a video game called Helldivers 2. And in the game, there's apparently a code that you put in to drop a bomb on what I presume is a fascist or fascist individuals. And it details the code as up, right, down, down, down. Now, while I don't believe that typical video games have an inherent evil or negativity among people, this particular one might, or at least in this instance. I've never played the game. It doesn't look like my kind of game. And I do not want to smear video games because this one game or this one moron decided to do something terrible, because there are hundreds of thousands of games out there that are lots of fun, are good for training, simulations, things like that. So it's ridiculous to blame video games for this. Or firearms. I think that's stupid. It's lazy, it's sloppy, it shows your ignorance to even mention something like that. But the 3 down arrows here in the code for the game also have a relevance here to the Antifa symbol that's widely used. I don't know how closely they are related, but I believe in his instance it's a safe bet to say they were related. And an indication to the world that he lived in online. Now, the "Oh Bella Chow" message, that is an Antifa song that was adopted in recent years. I think it's an old Italian song. I'm not sure what the original meaning of it is, but I'm pretty sure it's something anti-fascist, and therefore was co-opted by the group Antifa in order to spread their message, because that's one of the ways that they do it, by song and chant, because it makes people feel like they're part of a group and important and good. It has an emotional response. This group knows exactly what they're doing, and they're very good at it. And then the last message says, "If you read this, you're gay." I'm not sure of the exact reference of that, but obviously it has to do with online nihilistic culture. I believe it's popular in the trans community. Maybe somebody can give me a better understanding of that, but it could be exactly what it just says. It's just a trollist type message. The Gateway Pundit is reporting Kirk's assassin, Tyler Robinson's roommate, possible transgender partner. Obviously, you can see here he's dressed in a costume, a furry costume, and he obviously had a homosexual relationship with this individual who is clearly wearing makeup, and pretending to be feminine. Now, Amuse on X here is kind of tying this all together, giving us a history on how this young man was radicalized. Basically, he said from age 10, Tyler Robinson was fed a daily diet of hate and calls for political violence from Democrats, or at least the Democrat leadership, and their willing accomplices in the drive-by media. Yeah, the media was really bad about publicizing all of this crap. I think they're in cahoots with each other, honestly. Throughout his formative years, he listened to leaders of the Democrat Party routinely call on him to act, to fight, and to kill if necessary. This is why it is appropriate to call the left the party of murder. I would say the far left. There are plenty run-of-the-mill Democrats who are normal people and Christians. So, but I understand what Amuse is saying. He's so deep into this game that when you talk about these things, you forget to specify that it's the far left, the severe radical portion of the leadership, the party, things like that. So don't hold it against him. He's wading knee deep in it. So they are complicit in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, he writes. Let's listen to some of this, because I've heard this 1,000 times, and it's absolutely correct.
Casings read, "Hey fascist!" exclamation point. Catch! Exclamation point.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core.
It's insane.
Let me shut down the Senate! We are at war!
We're at a war right now.
We are at war.
So you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
And that's why the gloves are
Wow.
off.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans
Yeah, I remember this.
represent an extremism that threatens
The President of the United States said this.
And yes, there are many threats to democracy. We see it with these extreme candidates.
I just don't.
And he said it in the middle of his, I think it was Union address, his State of the Union address. The President of the United States called half the country and the former president extremist threats to the country. There's no walking that back. You don't just go, oh, well, he's talking about, the really violent people on the right. What? No, you weren't. Don't try to lie to us. We straight up watched and heard you say that.
Don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
You can only push people so far. And then they start to take matters into their own hands.
What the American public want is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight.
This is literally call to arms.
The MAGA movement is a threat.
But Michelle says that, when they go low, we go high. No.
With all due respect, if they go low, we don't go high.
When they go low, we kick them.
We take them to the mud and choke them out.
And make sure that they stay down. And you know what? Kick them when they're down, because they deserve it.
Get up in the face of some Congress people.
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your...
We have to fight this in the streets.
We're going to fight it in the streets.
It's time to step out of your comfort zone and step out into the streets.
To our Republican colleagues, if you do not see the light, we will bring the fire. Resist! You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore.
These people are insane.
He's not going to have a third term. He may not finish this term.
Yes, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime. Just so you know, there will be news.
Wow. So here's another reference to the Antifa symbol, the 3 down arrows, which is probably why the developers of that game put that in there. Like I said, I don't want to speak for them and I don't want to demonize a game, but that could easily be a reference to Antifa. And that's one of the reasons I will not play that game, as I don't want political messaging in games. I think it's ridiculous. Just like I think it's ridiculous that they politicize sports and other things that people don't want politics in. They watch and participate in these things to get away from that stuff. And then now these people are injecting that in there. And they're doing it on purpose. And then this is a picture of Tyler. I think this is when he was younger. And it looks like he's riding a Donald Trump, like it's a costume, and it's like you riding the back of Donald Trump. I have no idea what the meaning of that is, but I'm pretty positive that you would never catch any right-leaning individual, any conservative, any normal person. Let's just put it that way. Any normal person, Democrat, Republican, you name it, would never wear something like that. This is an already radicalized individual in regards to politics. So why his parents didn't get the clue there is beyond me. The official narrative insists that Tyler Robinson acted alone in assassinating Charlie Kirk. Police point to his age, his possession of a rifle, and his own admissions. Yet even a careful reading of the evidence presented by law enforcement reveals more complexity. The discord messages, the language of coordination, and the curious hedges by federal authorities suggest that Robinson's act was neither isolated nor self-contained. At minimum, he was radicalized by networks of the left-wing extremism that normalize violence against conservatives. At maximum, he may have been directly assisted by Antifa colleagues who facilitated the logistics of the killing. I believe that 100% based on everything I've read. 100%. And it's consistent with precisely the way they operate. Consider first the discord messages. Investigators told the public that Robinson used terms such as drop point, watching the area, and wrapped in a towel. These are not the words of an isolated young man merely stashing his own gear. Drop point is tradecraft, a term more at home in counterintelligence than in adolescent banter. If Robinson were acting alone, why would he describe hiding his weapon in language of a handoff? That's a good point. I mean, it's not definitive, but it's a good bit of evidence to pursue. The most natural reading is that he expected others to interact with the rifle. Either he left it for retrieval or asked that someone else ensure it was undisturbed. The phrase, watching the area, strengthens this interpretation. It implies surveillance, a lookout, or a spotter. A lone actor would have no need to broadcast this to another person, but a collaborator would. Okay, I can agree to that. And if you guys want to read the rest of Muse's statement here, it's full of good information. If you haven't already, please go ahead and follow @Amuse on X. Subscribe to his stuff. He puts out a lot of great things. And here Tulsi Gabbard's talking about Charlie Kirk's casket arriving in Arizona. Let's watch a little bit of this.
He was always there for me when I picked up the phone and said, Charlie, I could use your help. He helped me and so many others in times where I wasn't even aware of it and I would hear of it third hand. But really it was his motivation. Charlie so deeply loved this country and sincerely valued the principles and values that are enshrined in our Constitution. He lived this appreciation for freedom and used his life to inspire others to stand up for those principles, was unabashed about his love for God, his faith in God, and treated everyone, no matter who they were, no matter what their background, no matter their views, with respect that is inspired by God's love for all of us.
Tulsi, and as we look at this, that door opened on Air Force 2. I know you've been on Air Force 2 and Air Force 1, as have I, and we can expect at any moment to see Vice President J.D. Vance come down. We know when they loaded onto Air Force 2, you saw Erica Kirk there, beautiful wife of Charlie Kirk, their two children. They're bringing Charlie home. And you know, you spoke, Tulsi, to the faith of Charlie Kirk. And I also want to speak to his love for family. That man loved Erica Kirk, loved his wife. Erica said it was her dream come true, marrying Charlie Kirk. He was the one. I had the pleasure of being around them. I'm sure you did too. It was a love story.
If you're not familiar with Charlie Kirk, he wasn't a saint, obviously. He wasn't perfect. He was a flawed man, a sinner, like all of us. But he was a good man. Bottom line. He was a regular, run-of-the-mill guy who decided to do God's work. He decided to get out, talk to people, learn, debate, teach. Every event, he always had something to say about God, the Word, the history of the Bible. He was always talking to young people and inspiring them and instilling courage and knowledge. More importantly, wisdom. Zuby here on X is talking about the numerous, I'm talking tens of thousands of posts from individuals being held accountable for celebrating violence. Canceling people who support murder is perfectly moral and legitimate. And I absolutely agree. Typical cancel culture from the left is usually any information at all, any post, any publication, any outward projection of any idea or word that contradicts their way of life, whether it's pro-life, abortion, the poor, racism, bigotry, anything. You do anything that they don't like, and they'll contact your job, your church, your family members, and they'll try to get you canceled. Not just from, not just losing your job. They'll try to get you kicked offline. They'll get you debanked. They'll SWAT you. The SWAT team will show up at your house. Many of the prominent online people have already contacted their local police departments, usually in person. They'll visit. They'll detail the situation. Hey, I'm online. I'm a presence. I'm outspoken, or I'm controversial on the internet. And there is a chance that somebody may try to swat me or harm me. I'm letting you know in case you get a call about my address. Those types of things are very prudent. It's part of being prepared and aware of reality. So I would highly suggest that. He's indicating to everyone that, or he's reassuring everyone that canceling these individuals who are committing crimes and celebrating violence is absolutely okay. These individuals not only need to be awoken from their insanity, but they need to know that this will not be tolerated.
I go around universities and have challenging conversations, and because that's what is so important to our country, is to find our disagreements respectfully, because when people stop talking, that's when violence happens.
I've never seen someone do this.
Well, it's a growing trend because people like me are facing violence, assault, the left. Yes, the campus Antifa. I've been stormed out of restaurants. I've been assaulted publicly, multiple death threats.
Okay, so what's your goal in all this?
There's more people that agree with me than some people would actually believe, and they come out of the woodwork when I do stuff like this. We record all of it so that we put it on the internet so people can see these ideas collide. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens, because you start to think the other side is so evil and they lose their humanity.
And so it appears that the case of the assassination of Charlie Kirk is ongoing, according to Kash Patel and the FBI. I think for most of us, it's at this point, it's done. It's case closed. We've pretty much wrapped it up with this individual being arrested and admitting to the crimes. Obviously, I'm going to continue to monitor the situation and verify things that do come out. And if it warrants another video, I'll definitely do so. And so we say goodbye to Charlie, and we pray for his family. And I pray that many more people stand up and try to embody what Charlie was teaching. I pray that we all stop and speak with each other again and end the violence. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit subscribe, share this channel with your friends. But for now, God bless, and I'll catch you on the next one.